Okay, everything seemed to be going fine with OBS. So, welcome back to my forever world. Now, I'm going to be honest, I'm not entirely sure what to do with this, because... Oh, there we go. It was like, the whole goal of this was to not use creative mode until either day 100 or I beat the game. It's now day 52, and I've kind of run out of things to do, because beating the game... Unfortunately, I'm probably not the right person for that sort of thing, because I much prefer to just build stuff. But, like, I don't know what to build either, so until I figure out what to do with anything, I'm just kind of existing, letting the days go by. But, you know, I have to admit that, aside from the whole not knowing what to do with myself in this world, it's been quite a while since I've actually properly played, since the last video, and part of that is just, what do I even build? Because I'd much rather just load up creative mode and build something that way. But then that kind of defeats the whole point of where I was trying to go with this. Like, I mean, I guess I could probably build myself like a proper storage building or something. It's like, it's kind of chaotic. And then, you know, got a little farm here, trees scattered all over the place. Could probably do a lot if I think about it for a little while, but like, again, it's just find it easier to just load up creative mode and build. Like, right up, like over here, I'd love to expand this out farther into the ocean, but it just have to go through, get all the materials for it. And, like, it's a good starting point, I think, at least. But, you know, as much as I want to throw in the towel on it, that wouldn't be very notable, now would it? Can't say it was for a lack of trying, because I definitely tried. Now, where did I stick the fishing rod again? See, again, I haven't touched this world in so long I've forgotten where I put anything. The joys of playing on a wireless controller, eh? No? It's not in my inventory. Alright. Maybe there. Looks like I need to collect some honey again. And I think last video shouldn't have the pathway in it. If not, at some point I went through and did that. And oh, it's here. Okay. See, again, proper storage system. Wouldn't be a problem if that was the case, but, you know. Where do I put that? Is the next big question. I do kind of want to expand this section of everything, so maybe off on the island over there? Level that. Add on walkways over here and from the mainland over there. I don't know. In the meantime, let's do a little fishing. Oh, no. Hang it. Hey, there we go. So, something that this world's probably going to become after I either just call it quits and start building in creative mode before I hit day 100, or after I hit day 100, is this world will probably just become like a background footage world, where I just kind of build stuff off camera, and then every so often comes through to let y'all know what I've done, and if I have any major updates for the channel, play on this world and talk about them. It's like, you know, major thing that's going to be happening soon, and I'll make a proper separate video about it, is that I'm going to be changing the name of the channel. It's like, oh, you only have 600 subscribers. Why would you do that? Well, just because I had to have a small amount of subscribers doesn't mean those subscribers won't care that the name of the channel changed. Well, sorry. The Unbreaking 3 melting. Curse of Vanishing is unfortunate, but, you know. Oh, well, only so much you can do about that. And then something, or no, no, talked about it once, may as well bring it up again, so it's just still relevant. Like I said in the Farewell to the Amazing Digital Circus video, I do sincerely want to sort out some sort of like fan community thing that's a bunch of fan-made adventures or stories about adventures and all that jazz. But as for if or when it's ever going to actually happen, I don't honestly know, because again, the idea of that is a pretty big undertaking for a one guy. Another fishing rod? Oh. What have we got there? Okay. Well, I should probably throw those over here. But speaking of fish, we do put those there. Put those there. And now back to what I was saying. The project, at least as it currently stands, I'd probably call it Tales from the Suggestion Box. Because, like, you know, the whole thing with the suggestion box in episode 5 was a bunch of smaller adventures for the cast to go on. And I think it'd be pretty cool to explore, just like as a general concept of having a bunch of other people make suggestions or write their own narratives, and then it comes together as one collaborative effort at the end of it to show how much the show's come to mean to all of us. But like I was saying, I'm just one guy who has a job, who lives on a piece of property in the middle of nowhere, so I don't really have the time or power to really throw it together in any cohesive manner, as much as I like the idea. But then, you know, that's kind of the whole point of it being a community effort, is everyone kind of helps build it up. But, like, I don't know how to get that ball rolling. I mean, I have ideas for how to get the ball rolling, but then, you know, if you haven't heard, recently there was a fan-made rendition of the Wacky Watch site that allowed people to upload anything they wanted to it, and, you know, it's the internet. So it didn't take very long for that to go sideways. And that's highly unfortunate, because as for my project, again, not careful about it, it'll go sideways immediately and have to scrap the whole thing, which I don't really want to do, because that would be extremely unfortunate for everybody that put in an honest effort and honest suggestion or wrote their own storylines to be added to the collective. And, you know, I realize I'm probably just talking in circles about it at this point, but still something on the table that I want to do. Just when, or, well, no, I shouldn't say if, because if implies it won't happen, and I want it to happen, so I should be talking in terms of when, not if. But when that does happen, I'll have a whole special announcement video about it. And, like, you know, speaking of the show and all that sort of stuff, if, actually, I realize I don't have a good way to share that. Because if you didn't watch the farewell video I made, and the link in the description, there's a media file link that links to a small zip file that I threw together featuring stuff like document of my thoughts and opinions on the show, what fan fiction I wrote, a fan game that I threw it together. It's really not really much of a game. There's only like 4 levels you can actually do anything in, and 2 of them don't even have enemies. Just to show you how early in development it all was. But, again, that's one of those things that, like, I want to do something with all of that. And then, like, even the fan fiction specifically, I'm actually working on a continuation of that narrative that leads into a potential third continuation featuring yet another new character of mine for the series that, depending on how things go, could become the face of the community project. I don't know, because all I really have is a loose idea of the character. And, like, maybe, oh, I suppose there's not really any harm in talking about it. Because for those of you that haven't read the fan fiction, the starring character is a character named DC, and they're I suppose they'd be a steampunk automaton? Because, like, part of their thing is, because, if you're familiar with the show, the whole point of the avatars is that they unfortunately are representative of the worst character flaws that the person sees in themselves. And DC, at least in the narrative, only really ever saw themselves as a machine to be told what to do, when to do it, how to do it, that sort of thing. Which is the whole reasoning for why he looks like a, machine. Go figure, huh? Way to state the obvious there, dummy. But, the new character on... I'm sorry. The new character, her name's Popper, which was not the suggestion that came up, which, much like how Gangle got named that because Jax is the one that suggested it, I think in the lore, she pops up, DC and Ragatha come across her. Ragatha suggests the name Poppy, and Kane mishears it as Popper, hence the name. But for her design, she'd be inspired by a marionette, and as from an early age, back in what we'd perceive as reality, she used to go to boarding schools over the years, and from her point of view, it wasn't really teaching her how to be anything other than a puppet for people to pull her strings, hence the look of being a marionette. As for her outfit, as far as I've gotten with that, is like maybe a ringleader of some kind, because she always wanted to be an actress, and, like, ringleaders, lights on them, that sort of thing. So it's kind of a mix of what she sees as a flaw and something that she wants to be, but that's about as far as I've gotten with the character, aside from the fact that, she's a marionette, but she has a static mask instead of expressive one like Gangle does. So she makes up for it with her body movements, tone of voice, and eye movement. And then also think she'd have, like, thin wires trailing off of her because, pulling her strings. But they'd also act as, like, something she can actually interact with, sort of like tendrils or something. Which, you know, haven't really put too terribly much thought into it. But it's like, I don't know, I think it'd be an interesting character design. But I am not an artist. Well, okay. That depends on how you want to define the term artist. Because I am a music producer, which, like, artist, music artist. And then I'm an author, which writing in and of itself is an art form. So you kind of have to get granular with what you're referring to an artist as. Not to discredit myself any. Huh. I'm not entirely sure lunge helps me any there, game. Because I don't have a spear, and I don't think boots really need that enchantment. Not that I really want the enchantment anyways, because I've got a boat. But, alright. I have to admit, I'm kind of running out of things to discuss at the moment. But, you know, I think it's fair to at least say something about what I've got going on. And at the very least, thinking about. Because, the future of this channel is hopefully very bright going forward now that, I'm adding commentary to my videos. Which, you know, sometimes there might not be commentary, but that's partially because I'm trying to figure out how my Elgato capture card and OBS are supposed to interact with each other. And I sort of figured it out, but there wasn't any audio coming through OBS for whatever reason. And, that really annoyed me, so I just kind of gave up on it. But, if I can figure that out, that'd be great. Because then you have game audio from my Xbox, and then I can just sit here at my laptop talking about whatever. So, hopefully sometime down the line I'll have video that'll actually have commentary and gameplay from my Xbox, because otherwise I'm not entirely sure how well that's going to go over anymore. Not that, the commentary-free videos don't get views, because they absolutely do. Like, good God. Looking at some of my major videos, 53,000 views on the top viewed video, and there was no commentary. Like, oh, I probably could have gotten a lot more views if there was. But, oh, only so much you can do about it. Just gotta put one foot in front of the other, and then eventually come to a stop, turn around, look behind you, and realize how far you've come since you started walking. And, I suppose it's kind of a... Okay, I mean, I realize it's not a terrible way to look at life, but then, if all you're doing is looking down, making sure you're putting one foot in front of the other, you're going to end up looking up and realizing you're in a place you don't want to be, with no idea how you got there or how to get out. But, then you just put your head down, keep walking, and eventually look back up. And hopefully you'll be somewhere nicer. But, that's just my point of view on things. 'Cause I'm just a guy doing what he likes. Which, maybe one day this channel will... Well, okay. Again, I was about to discredit myself a bit. Like, I was going to say, one day this channel might be worth something. And, this channel is worth something. It's worth my time. If it wasn't worth my time, I wouldn't be sitting here making this video. I wouldn't be making any videos. In fact, I mean, not that, people wouldn't know I exist, but a lot less people would know I exist, and, well, I just want to make stuff. That's all. I mean, yeah, I realize that some of my ideas are a little too ambitious, but then nobody got anywhere in life without pushing the limits of things, now did they? No. You know what? Oh, controller's freaking out. Sorry about that. Oh. I think I'm gonna wrap this up here, and maybe next video I'll have something to build. But until then, hopefully you stick around the channel, watch some other videos, and show your support. It'd be great, because, I can't improve stuff if nobody tells me what I'm doing wrong. Because otherwise I'm just going to keep doing stuff wrong, and people will get annoyed, and then nothing's changing. It's like, well, I don't know what's wrong, because nobody tells me what's wrong. and I need to know what's wrong to fix it. But, you know, you don't have to, obviously. We have free will for a reason. But, alright. And, no. Alright. Nothing too interesting. Well, thank you for your time, and again, hopefully you'll stick around and maybe watch another video or two, and I'll hopefully see you in another new video when the time comes.